creating an on-plane swing has somewhat been normalized over the past year and a half, 2 years. And it may be simpler to create than you think. It may not even be a mechanical change at all. Basically what we want to do is realign the way we practice to set up for what's going to happen in a game. And what I mean by that is the best hitters in the world have the ability to hit the ball out in front with true spin. What I mean by true spin is not reaching out in front and hooking across the top of this, but being able to catch a ball anywhere from 13 to 18 inches out in front of the plate and be able to backspin it and drive it. Again, not excessively, not top spin, but hit true spin to drive the ball in the air, and they do so with their practice. And so what I mean by that is anytime we evaluate a new hitter at Baseball Rebellion, we ask them to first put the ball on the tee and just get loose however they normally would. And 90% of the hitters put the tee right on top of the plate and get right off their front foot and do one of two things. They either stride, so where now the ball's off my front hip and it's a little too deep somewhere I wouldn't make contact and drive the ball, and they flare and sideswipe the ball to right field. Whether it's because they've been told to get it deep or stay to the opposite field, whatever it is, I don't mind them hitting the opposite field. But when we sideswipe the ball because it's so deep, it's not being hit very hard, doesn't have a good chance for success. The other thing they do, which can create some bad habits, is instead of letting the ball get deep on them and filleting it to right field, they make this big move back and this big turn into the shoulders, which now gets them offline and creates that pull spin in the front and the spin of the back foot and just overall weak contact because we're not able to shift our weight. So my solution is let's actually train to where we're going to hit the ball. Now we look at this and it might be a little scary for most people because they're not used to seeing the ball out in front. However, again, the best hitters hit the ball from inside their front foot to 13 to 18 inches out in front of that with true spin. And again, it's always better to reference the body when we're talking point of contact instead of the bat, just because hitters stand in different parts of the box and that becomes a variable. So from inside front heel to 13 to 18 inches out in front of that, and they do so by creating length through the zone out in front as opposed to rocking back and trying to create depth. And again, that's where you see the lack of connection with the barrel, a little bit of a sloppy turn away from them. When we think creating length out in front, it tends to lead to a little bit of a tighter turn off this back shoulder where we then get into the zone and the barrel bottoms out at our back hip and now carries up through the line of the pitch. But again, we have to do that through our practice and through very detailed work. So I'm gonna set the tee up out in front of the plate to where when I stride, it's still out in front of my foot. This is a pitch middle to middle in. I wanna be able to hit it out in front of my front foot without feeling like I have to spin around and top spin one to left. So changing the position on the plate the tee's gonna be is gonna then force me to move forward and get into a good position, ready to attack the ball, ready to create true spin on it instead of top spin or a big cut. So again, practice hitting the ball where you're gonna hit it in a game to allow yourself to learn how to move correctly instead of trying to create this massive depth and sway back or trying to inside out and create false spin to right center.